Hi friends, it's me and saying hi from my Tuesday, and I actually wanted to make this vlog starting Monday to make it a weekly reading vlog. However, I was quite busy yesterday. As you may tell, that it's been a while that I vlogged. Last time I vlogged, I was still visiting my parents, and I got back for a couple of weeks now. I have so many video ideas that I want to make. However, I got sick, and along the way, I lost my voice for about like 10 days. I actually have never lost my voice completely like this before, so I freaked out a little bit. I was worried that I would never get it back, but now I am recovered a little bit and my voice is back, so I'm really happy about it. I'm still very tired from being sick, but because we are well into nonfiction November, I hope you guys are reading nonfiction and enjoying them as much as I do. And of course, in this vlog, I will be reading some nonfiction. And this is the holiday week, so I'm actually here home alone because my partner went on vacation office. So I will be spending all my spare time, I guess, reading and vlogging about it. So I have a very ambitious TBR, and let's talk about them. So here are some of the books that I'm considering reading. As you can tell, I put this one out and I decided to wait for it because it's quite long. But for this vlog, I am currently reading this Wide Open Tab. This is the history of queer in San Francisco. I read last night in the Telegraph Club earlier this year, and I started to get very interested in the history, especially the queer history in San Francisco, because that book actually referenced a lot of things in this book and make it very historically accurate. So I'm currently reading it. I'm a little bit into it and I enjoy it so far. And also, on the notes of reading about San Francisco's history, I also have this picture book about San Francisco's Chinatown. This is not one of my TBRs for this vlog. This is just something that I borrowed from the library and flipped through the way because we are doing the presentation for my Japanese class after the holiday, so I want to talk about San Francisco Chinatown. And from what I read, it's actually very interesting because Chinatown was wiped out after the earthquake in 1906, and they actually wanted to move San Francisco's Chinatown out of the city because there were a lot of discriminations by that time. So the Chinese people back then, they actually got together and decided to stay and put and decided to protect their home, to build the Chinatown very quickly, and they decided to make it a tourist attraction by asking white people to design the buildings. So actually the very exotic looking buildings in San Francisco Chinatown was actually built and designed by white architect. And I found that piece of history is very interesting and fascinating. Anyhow, I'm learning all about it and it's fascinating, but let's continue to talk about my TBR. So the next book I want to read is Refusing Compulsory Sexuality. I read Ace by Angela Chen last year and I absolutely loved it. And this one I picked up during the Black History Month, but I haven't started to read it yet. So I want to at least start on this week, but I really want to read it. And the next book is How Fascism Works. This book was read by cousin from Always Doing, and she recommended it. She was talking about it in one of her videos. It was a very good critique and review of the book, and I got very interested in it. And of course, with all the heavy nonfiction, I picked up this fiction, Agatha Christie, to relax, I guess. This is They Do It With Mirrors. I know nothing about it. This is my the next book in line for my Miss Marple project or something. I will eventually read them all, so this is the next book. And also a audiobook I'm listening to is Opinions by Roxane Gay. I only have 1 hour left on that audiobook, and that book is I love Roxane Gay so much, and when I started to listen to that book and when she's reading out the essays that she wrote over the past years, I just so many things resonate with me so much, and I wanted to have a physical copy so I can like write down all the quotes that I want to remember. However, the waiting line in my library is like forever long, so I don't have the physical book yet. But I'm very listening to it very delightfully, and that is all my ambitious TBR for this week because I really miss reading and talking to you guys. I was quite busy in the past weeks, especially with like visiting my parents and such, and also being sick. I didn't really read a lot of things, so I want to just go start reading. But now I do need to get some work done, and I will talk to you guys later. Don't you just love when they like hang out together? Hi friends, it's the evening of the next day. I just wrapped up work today and I have a little bit of a reading update to you guys. Firstly, I finished Opinions by Roxane Gay and I have nothing more to say. I love Roxane Gay, and in the end of the book there were certain chapters about when Roxane Gay was answering people's confusions about life, work, or like love, or even their political goals and their thoughts, and I found those essays very uplifting, and it's surprisingly very optimistic compared to the first part of the book, and I just feel like it's a perfectly wrap up for the whole collection, and I love it. Although I feel like a little bit disconnected with the celebrity part, but I love everything else. And because I finished that, so today I actually started reading How Fascism Works. And I'm not sure if this is a mistake or a good choice because this book makes me so depressed. This book apparently talks about variety of elements in fascism and proving to us like how, and providing information to us like how that works. The first part is it's called the mythical past, like about how the fascism leaders, they create this mythical ideal nationalism past and history of fascism in order to like control people's mind or something like that. And also the second part is propaganda. It's talking about how propaganda works in different situations. And I feel like this book is great. But that's also where I feel like makes me so sad because the author provides you with large amount of research and examples all across the globe in different historical periods and just makes you feel like, oh my god, this happened or is happening everywhere in the world, and how can we and when can we do better as humanity. So this is a part where I feel like maybe this is a mistake to make it into a vlog, but also I feel like maybe it's a good choice because if I were just reading it by myself, I'll be so sad. So because I'm able to talking to you guys and also maybe trying to do some fun stuff for this vlog, maybe this is a good choice to not making my reading experience of this book too depressing. Anyhow, and I don't know why I didn't continue reading Wide Open Tongue and picked up this one because I did plan to continue reading this one. So I think the plan for tonight is to go make some dinner. My partner is sending me pictures of his food he ate during vacation, which makes me so jealous. So I'm gonna make something really good tonight and relax and read some chapters from this book. However, I do also need to prepare for my Japanese presentation next week, so maybe we can do it together. But now off to dinner. So I have no idea what I want for dinner yet, but I do know that I want a miso soup. So I'm just making some base of the soup right now. I put basically like everything that I feel like umami into the broth, and unfortunately I forgot to hydrate the dried mushrooms, so we're just gonna use the dried one and hopefully they will be hydrated along the way. However, while I'm waiting for the base of the miso soup, I actually decided to do some yoga because I feel like very tense on my muscles lately, and it's all about taking care of yourself while you're reading about very depressing books about politics. So let's do some yoga, but I don't think I'll film myself actually doing yoga because that will be a little bit weird for me. However, you will just know that that is what I'm doing.
Hi everyone, and welcome to Yoga with Adrian. I'm Adrian, and this is Benji. And today we have a yoga for sickness recovery.
So I might have made too much miso soup for myself, but I'm really happy how it turned out. And I also made some soba along the way, so we are ready for dinner. Hi friends, it's the next day and it's actually Thanksgiving today, and as you can see I just made myself a cup of coffee. I actually tried to make a good cup of coffee like 3 times just now, but the pressure was just not right, so I'm just gonna go with the last time that I made it. And anyhow, today, because it's the holiday, so I thought I'm gonna have so much time to read, but actually when I think about it, I probably should work on the Japanese presentation, which I thought I'm gonna be writing something for it last night, but I actually didn't. I was reading Open White Tongue, and the book is pretty dry and difficult to read in the sense of I have a very hard time to keep myself concentrate on that book because there's just like so many facts after facts and after facts. But I'm also fascinated by the facts that happened in the past in San Francisco in the queer community, and I am a little bit confused by some of the things now. However, now I just want to say hi and go enjoy my coffee before I start to work on the assignment of the class that I'm taking. I still want to read a little bit. So see you guys later. It is almost 7 o'clock in the evening and I have done this much for my Japanese presentation. I am hungry. However, I am also in a row. I really want to finish my draft for this presentation before I go make dinner. However, my plan for dinner is to make beef broth. It actually will take a long time to cook. I'm not sure if I start later, if I still have the energy to make it or still have the energy to wait for it to be done. But now I just want to finish my draft. I told you guys I'm talking about the history of San Francisco Chinatown, especially like when they rebuilt the Chinatown after the earthquake in 1906, and the history is fascinating. So at that time, it was still the Chinese Exclusive Act was still like in place, and the San Francisco government by then wants to move the Chinatown out of the city, and the people in Chinatown actually threatened the San Francisco government. They're like, if you want us to move out of the city and still want to do business with us, we will just move to some other places who invited us, like Seattle or LA, and we won't do business with you. And that's when the government got scared and backed off of their plan to move all the people out of sight. So it was just ridiculous to think about how they actually need the business for economy and how they actually need the services that was provided, the value of Chinatown at the time, but also they just don't want to see us. So yeah, I'm just like continue to be fascinated by this piece of history. I just want to update you guys that I haven't read anything today, but I'm happily spending my time like doing other things. But I did borrow the A Scatter of Light by Malinda Lo because I was inspired to talk about San Francisco Chinatown in my class because I read the last night at the Midnight Club, and I just loved the writing, and I just feel like the story was so perfect. And it's really rarely for me to read and love a story happened or set in Chinatown, because a lot of times I just found the cultural representation a little bit weird, but this book is just amazing. So this is like another book of hers that came after that book. I borrowed the audiobook since I'm reading all the heavy nonfiction in this vlog, so I want to listen to something that I know that I'll like. So yeah, overall I will continue writing the draft for a while. It's so difficult for me. I have very limited Japanese vocabulary and my pronunciation is horrible, but I'm trying my best and it's fun. Great news, guys. It is 8:40, but my dinner is finally simmering on the stove, and I am here, however, still continue working on my Japanese homework. I finished the draft for the presentation. It's kind of long, and I want to send it up to my Japanese teacher for her to double check the grammar point with me. And then because of that, I need to write her an email that is also in Japanese. So I'm just like waiting for my dinner and continue writing. However, when I was preparing dinner just now, I started to listen to A Scatter of Light, and I am 10% into this book, and I already can say that I'm liking it a lot. I wouldn't say that I am in love with it because we only got the setting of the story and I didn't know how it works. At this time, I just really like Malinda Lo's writing, and this is actually a contemporary story. In the Last Night at the Telegraph Club is actually a historical fiction set in 1950s in San Francisco, Chinatown, and this one also is in San Francisco, but it's in our contemporary setting. And we have our protagonist who's called Ariel, and she graduated from high school this summer. However, her plan was shattered because something happened in her school, so she has to go to San Francisco Bay Area to live with her aging grandmother, and she couldn't just go to the fun things that she planned with her friends. And because this is a queer coming of age story, I think we already met the character, which is very important to her story. This is not a spoiler, by the way, it's all on the blurb. So I'm just really looking forward to what's gonna happen in this book. However, now I am waiting for the soup or broth to simmer. I will just be here, continue working on my homework. Maybe you'll be happy to see that I filmed another video, and this is my setup. And that is my mirror and me. Hi friends, now it's Friday evening, and as I just updated you, I finished filming a video, and I actually thought today I couldn't do anything booktube related, including this vlog, because this morning I just woke up with a very tired feeling in my body. Have you had those days where you like slept, but after waking up you feel like you have never slept? This is one of those days. However, after 3 cups of coffee, I finally get a little bit more energetic in the evening, and so I went to film the video. And I did not update this vlog the whole day, but I did do a lot of reading, especially during lunchtime, and I'm currently halfway into How Fascism Works. And this book, let me tell you, it's still very depressing with all the examples. And the funny thing that I found out in this book, for example, in the chapter of anti-intellectual, I was talking about a professor, how he actually wrote books to challenge and to form an organization. Actually, I think he formed like 2 or 3 organizations in order to ban a lot of other professors and tenures in universities, and also ban their works and their research just because he thought they're liberal. And this reminded me that there are a lot of books that are challenged and also banned in the United States, but like 90% of them or something are coming from like 9 or 10 person in total, which is kind of insane. But it's just like this chapter I read echoes with my that piece of information in my mind, and just reminds me how sometimes you see or you feel like some voices are louder doesn't necessarily be because that they have more people agreeing with them, their statements, sometimes just because they're louder. And also in the chapter of hierarchy, the book brought up the idea of how the true nation, how fascism ideologies like wanted to establish a true nation in order to put people in different hierarchies. It just reminds me of a chapter that I read in How to Lose a Country. In that book, the author was talking about the concept of true people was actually created by propaganda, serving as a purpose to divide us, which I'm happy to see in this book as well. However, information-wise, except the large amount of examples and researches, all the concept of how fascism works, I already know. I haven't read anything that make me feel like it's groundbreaking, but it's a good way to read it systematically and remind me that we still have a lot of work to do. And also because that book is so depressing, I actually went tangent to read a chapter of Refusing Compulsory Sexuality. I'm only at page 16, but I already loved it, and I look forward to what other things that this author brought up. That's about the update of tonight. I still need to go have dinner and edit the video that I just filmed. For some reason, I thought I'm gonna be healthier when the partner is away, but I'm just like staying up later and later every day. Also, the good thing is because I have made so much food in the past 3 days, I don't need to cook anymore, I don't think. So I will just heat up some leftovers. Let me introduce you to my 2 cats who have slept for the whole day. They're so cozy here. Hi friends, it's another day and it's actually Sunday, so it's like 2 days later. I took yesterday off from vlogging because I just wanted to have a cozy day by myself, relaxing and don't worry about a lot of things. However, I did do a lot of listening of the audiobook of A Scatter of Light, and I want to update you guys on that. I have so many thoughts. So, as you know, I'm reading a lot of depressing and heavy non-fictions among the week. So A Scatter of Light, I thought it's gonna be a fun and enjoyable read. And I did do some reaction in the earlier clip where I started to listen to that book and it was just so delightful. However, it all went south yesterday. So I've actually already finished the book. So I have like 2 different thoughts. The first half of the book, I was like, this is so delightful and we're gonna learn about the future of the characters from last night at the Telegraph Club, because this is one of their selling point of this book. It says that this is a companion book. So I'm so looking forward to it. Somehow it's slower than I thought and not a lot of things are happening, but I still like it because like the writing and the anticipation of all the things gonna happen is just like so enjoyable. We have the second half of the book, and the second half of the book is like, what the heck is happening? Like, I don't understand. Like, the characters became very dramatic. I mean, actually, in the background story, the characters are already very dramatic, but it's just like even more. There's like 0 character growth in the things after all the things are happened, and other characters, they are just like unbearable. There are a couple of likable side characters in this book, but I just felt like the amount of things that is not explained, and also I just don't understand why some of the main characters are doing the thing that they did, and also like all the clues in the first half of the book are not explained. I was like, what? And also because I'm looking forward to what happened to Lily and Kath, which are the 2 main characters in the last night book. I'm looking forward to see how they're doing, and they were just mentioned like twice in this book, and I just feel like it's so deliberate to a point that you don't actually need to do that. And I know that the author was trying to combine the character story to the major things happened political-wise in the country at that time, but the connection was just so not strong. So my thought of this book, my reading of this book went from, oh, this is not as strong as last night, but it's a solid 4 stars, to, oh my god, I don't think I can give it a 4 star. Maybe it's a 3.5 star. And now it's landed to a 2.5 stars. And needless to say, I'm very disappointed, and because I was reading and listening to that book the whole day yesterday, I didn't made any progress to the books that I really want to read in this vlog. But it's a distraction from all the depressing things happened in this book, I guess. However, do you guys remember that I wanted to read this book to relax in this vlog? I haven't started yet. I actually forgot about it until I rewatched my clips when I was editing this vlog. So I think maybe at some point I will read this book. But now I just got my morning coffee and I am off to read some depressing but meaningful books. This is why I don't have real plant here. Hey guys, an update to my reading, and it is lunchtime, so that's why I'm in the kitchen. I read 3 more chapters in this book this morning, and I liked it a lot more than the first 5 chapters that I read. The 3 chapters are victimhood, law and order, and sexual anxiety. And by the name, you can see what are the topics that were being discussed. And also these 3 chapters feel like a little bit more refreshing because the first 5 chapters are more on the national scale or something, and I feel like they have a lot of overlap with another book that I read and loved called How to Lose a Country. However, these 3 chapters are pretty unique in this book. So yeah, so that is the reading update of this book, and for lunch I plan to eat this whole bunch of lettuce head. So yeah, that is the plan, and today is actually not very eventful because I don't have any plans. So in the afternoon, I plan to finish this book since I only have 2 chapters left and maybe read some more. And also, I'm gonna defrost this turkey in the fridge. I'll put it in the fridge, so don't worry. I know it's 2 days after Thanksgiving, but we got this turkey for free. My partner was not here, so I'm gonna start to defrost it so we can cook it after he's back. It's also gonna be the first time that I ever make a turkey, so hopefully I'll do it right and not get poisoned or something. Here we have lunch and consider the portion, probably dinner also, and I really liked how it turned out. It's a healthy, balanced, homemade meal, and I'm definitely saying that just because I want to convince myself to cook more and not order delivery. However, we are just waiting for the rice to be done. So we have lunch here, we have a cat there, and a book, and I'm watching my friends playing video games. Isn't this just a perfect Sunday situation? Friends, it is the end of Sunday and it is time to wrap up this vlog. I have finished How Fascism Works, and I really like the second half of this book. You can tell from the sticky notes I even have on the cover to know that I have a lot of thoughts. So the second half of the book is more interesting compared to the first half. I feel like the first half, I just feel like the topics are very important, but the examples are kind of so heavy. But the second half actually have a lot of examples and things that are related to our current day-to-day life. And some of the takeaways that I got from this book are very interesting, and I hope I can remember them in the long term. For example, one phenomenon that the author described is called linguistic intergroup bias. This is to say that sometimes the languages that we use to describe a situation differ from time to time based on if we have a connection of the people that we are talking about. One example I remember is, for example, we have a friend called XYZ, and XYZ went to the store and stole something one day. So as their friend, we tend to say that, oh, XYZ stole something. But if we're not their friend and they're like strangers to us, or like we don't feel connected to them, or we actually don't really like them, at that time we tend to say XYZ is a thief. So it's this kind of language that we actually can see in the daily news that we consume, and it is very easy to have fascism leaders to use the language to order them to cater their needs. And the other one that I really like is talking about stereotypes and how our reaction to stereotypes actually reinform them in some way, especially like in society. That one and other things in this book just make me realize how some of the fascism ideology is actually really close to our life. It's not like everyone who have some sort of a fascism ideology is a fascist. Of course, that's not the case, but sometimes the trap of fascism is really easy for us to fall into. So this is my main takeaways from this book, and I have so many notes, as you can tell. I'm hoping to organize them someday and really remember a lot of the things in this book. So to wrap up this vlog, I finished this book, of course, and I finished A Scatter of Light, which is a book that went downhill. It became one of my most disappointed book of the year, compared to Last Night at the Telegraph Club, which is probably one of my favorite books of the year. So I have like one author on both side of the list. Another book that I finished is Opinions by Roxane Gay. However, I have read most of them before this vlog, so I just briefly talked about it. I really like that book. I'm hoping to get my hands on the physical copy of my library so I can take more notes. And two other books that I'm reading and in the middle of is Refusing Compulsory Sexuality and Wide Open Town. I like both of them. This one is a little bit drier because it's all history, and this one is more interesting. And now I'm done with the fascism one. I can concentrate on reading this. And also, the book that I forgot is Agatha Christie. I'm so sorry to her, but I'll continue reading her books. And that is all the books that I read in this vlog. This is quite an uneventful week of mine. I basically just stayed at home, work and reading and do booktube stuff. But I hope that you still find this vlog entertaining in some way. And please let me know what book have you read recently. And of course, don't forget to say hi and thumb up to this video if you liked it. I wish you happy reading, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll see you in my next bookish video. Bye!